Hi, hello, good morning. Welcome to today's session. So, in the previous session of our discussion, we were discussing about the topic or the concept what were the problems created by permanent settlement system. So, let's recall about the problems and let's continue the other system which came into existence in Bengal province. So the important problems which were mainly created by the permanent settlement system which got implemented from 1793. They are mainly the permanent settlement system. It made clear that uh, many problems got created because because of the problems created by the permanent settlement system, company officials soon uh, planned think to discover jamindars were in fact not coming forward to invest in the improvement of land, and the revenue that had been fixed as per the permanent settlement system, it was very high that the jamindars found it difficult to pay to the company. Then uh, anyone or those who failed to pay the revenue, automatically they lost their jamindari rights. So as per that, many number of jamindars were sold out their land uh, in the auctions organized by the company. Then the because of that, the prices in the market raised and cultivation went slowly expanded. It made clear that increase in the income of the jamindars, but no gain or no profit for the company, since it could not increase a revenue demand that had been fixed permanent by permanent settlement system. Then jamindars did not have an interest in improving the land. It was the problem. Then some jamindars lost their land in the earlier years of the settlement. Then others jamindars, now they saw the possibility of earning without the trouble and risk of investment in the land. Then, as long as jamindars could not give out the land to the tenants for cultivational activities and to get rent, they were not interested in improving the land. Then, on the other hand, in the villages, the cultivators found system very oppressive. Because of that, the rent he paid to the jamindars was high and his right on the land was insecure. Those who got tenant over the land, so they need to pay high rate of revenue to the jamindars, and they were not secured, or they were not having any security over the land where they got tenant right or tenancy rights. Because of that, many tenants felt difficult to pay the rent to the jamindars. So for that, took they oftenly went with taking loans from the money lenders, and when they failed to pay the rent, they were evicted from the land where they used to cultivate from generations. So after discussing about the problems created by the permanent settlement system, let's discuss what solutions that company plan to implement. That is, a new system is devised. By the early 19th century, many of the company officials were convinced that the system of revenue had to be changed again because of the problems created by the permanent settlement system. So, as permanent settlement system created so many number of problems to the tenants as well as to the jamindars, and directly it created problems for company to get its revenue income. So for that, in the early days or early months of 19th century, so many company officials, they convinced to change the revenue system of the company. Then they also advised how could the revenue be fixed permanently at that time when the company needed more and more money to meet its expenses of administration as well as trade. So, in order to meet the expenses over the establishment of administrative system as well as establishment of trade activities, so as company needed more and more money which it need to collect in the form of revenue, so now it became difficult when the revenue was mainly fixed permanently. So for that, in the northwestern provinces of Bengal presidency present, most of the areas are lying in the Uttar Pradesh state. An Englishman called Holt Mackenzie. Holt Mackenzie, he is Englishman or English officer. He devised, he advised, or he suggested to implement a new system which came into existence from 1822 onwards. So, before implementing a new system by Holt Mackenzie, he felt that the villages or village was an important social institution in North Indian society, and this institution need to be preserved. Under his direction, collectors went from village to village, inspecting the land, measuring the fields, and recording the customs and rights of different groups of people. One who is carrying or involving in variety of other works. Then the estimated revenue of each plot within a village was added up to calculate the revenue that village had to pay. So means each village went with a survey relating to the various aspects like measuring the land, the crops cultivated, then cropping pattern, then important crops cultivated, and the number of people involving in agricultural activity, and relating to all other uh, such areas, it went with survey, and finally it came to conclusion that the estimated calculation of revenue collection from the village, it it is to be paid from each village or each mahal, not permanently fixed. So the revenue suggested by Holt Mackenzie, it was not permanently fixed. It was changing timely. The charges of collecting the revenue and paying it to the company was given to the village headman. So in the permanent settlement system, Rajas and Talukdars, they were appointed and they were given Jamindar rights to collect rent from the peasants. Now here the collecting of revenue, it was directly given to the village headman rather than the Jamindars. That's why this system was came to be known as Mahalwari system or Mahalwari settlement. So Mahalwari system or Mahalwari settlement, it was mainly suggested or implemented by Englishman Holt Mackenzie in Bengal presidency. As per this system, he advised or he went with studying the important social institution, that is village. So for that, he advised or he directed collectors to inspect the villages in different aspects like measuring the lands, recording the customs and rights of different groups of people, then crops cultivated, cropping pattern, the number of people, carrying the agriculture activity and other activities. Then relating to this, by collecting all these different information about each mahal, so company went with estimating the total amount of revenue to be collected from the particular village or particular mahal. Then the here the collecting of revenue from the village, it was not given to jamindars as it was given in permanent settlement system. Instead it was given to the village headman. So that's why this system was mainly identified or called as mahalwari system or mahalwari settlement. So with this, let me stop today's session, and about other such revenue reforms or revenue systems